welcome back to another video on the channel. It's the semi-final day of the Cincinnati Open. The two men's singles and women's semi-finals will be played today before the finals tomorrow. And we have four fantastic semi-finals in store, kicking things off with Novak Djokovic, the world number one, against Spain's Roberto Bautista Agut. And I think at the quarter-final stage, many people have predicted a Djokovic-Medvedev semi-final. But Bautista Agut claimed a fantastic comeback win over Medvedev. A surprise to many, but Bautista Agut's done this for many years. He's got a lot of experience, a great problem solver, got ability on all courts, and he's got fantastic experience as well, and he really used it all against Medvedev in the quarter final, and Medvedev blew him away in that first set. Bautista Agut was too passive, hitting the ball too short, mistiming the ball, and Medvedev just took control from an early stage. He's got that huge forehand, hits a lot of winners in the back of the court. But in the second and third sets, Bautista Agut recognised that, started using the backhand slice, started attacking the net himself, being more aggressive, changing up the pace, and Medvedev really struggled to do that. He didn't have a good serving day, Medvedev, and I think it just proved that, Medvedev needs to be serving well to have a good performance. He needs them 3 points on the serve against players like Nishikori and Goffin and Bautista Agut, who are quick, got good defence, got variations, can change up the pace. He does struggle, and that'll offer players like that, of that style, huge confidence going to the US Open, knowing that he is beatable. Use the backhand slice, get him on the run, get him into long rallies, keep the ball long, and Medvedev struggles against that sort of style, which he did against Bautista Agut the other day. But all credit to Bautista Agut. He's been on the tour for many years, causing shocks and doing it on all surfaces. He always reached the business end of slams and tournaments, and being a fantastic player to watch over the years, and one that's thoroughly underrated. But moving on to Novak Djokovic, you can't really say a bad word about Djokovic. He's still unbeaten in 2020. Hasn't lost a set yet at this tournament, and just looks like he's never been away. He's struck the ball fantastically well this week. He faced a huge serve against Jan-Lennard Struff in the quarter-final, has dealt with him so easily. Hasn't even been pushed really yet in a set. I don't feel Djokovic, and just seems to be a class above everybody in the world, which he was pre-lockdown, and after lockdown, he looks just as good. You're seeing the likes of Medvedev and teams struggle with the timing of the ball and that intensity, but Djokovic just seems to be using all his experience and all his class to just dismantle everybody. And although Bautista Agut played fantastic the other week and showed great attitude, great heart and great skill to beat Medvedev, taking on Djokovic is taking on another animal, and I can't see anybody stopping Djokovic at the moment. The courts are playing very quick. Perhaps if a big server has a fantastic serving day, they might take Novak to tie breaks and beat him, but even then, you've taken into account Djokovic is the best returner of all time. He sort of takes that weapon away and uses it as a positive to put pace in the ball. Very tough for Bautista Agut, and I do think Djokovic should come through. Moving on to Tsitsipas, RAONIC, and this is a very interesting one. We've got Tsitsipas, who's won the World Tour Finals last year, and looked more or less unstoppable at that time over 3 sets. And I did say in my pre-tournament preview that over 3 sets, Tsitsipas is dangerous as anybody in the world. He's very crafty. He's got the change up. He's got a fantastic serve, ability to hit lots of winners. He's a fantastic young player who'll just continue to get better and better. He hasn't made a great run at Grand Slam yet, for reasons we're not really sure of. He's still very young, but over a 3-set match, I think he's as dangerous as anybody in the draw. But he's up against, an opponent in RAONIC who, again, like Bautista Agut, has got a lot more experience. He's won them big matches. He reached the Wimbledon final. He's won titles in the past, and he's got that huge serve and forehand to rely upon. He hasn't had a great past 18 months, but I think the way he's returned and played this week, beating Andy Murray in straight sets and playing a fantastic quarter final where he really used that serve and forehand. And for me, for RAONIC, he's mentally very strong. He uses that serve and he gets the forehand right in the corners at the biggest stages. He really controls his game, finds the winners when he really needs them, and he's just been a fantastic player. Maybe he's not the most entertaining player to watch, but I think out of the big servers, he has got the best all-round game, and I think he's a very good player. And to be honest, I think he beats Tsitsipas here. I just think the way RAONIC is serving, I think he's got the best serve in the world. The way he's serving and hitting the forehand, Tsitsipas isn't what you would call a defensive player. He does make errors off the defensive side, and just for Tsitsipas, he's a fantastic player. This match really could go either way, but I just think RAONIC has got that winning experience, and he's got that go-to shot where he's got the serve and forehand that you can really rely upon, and we know he produces it in the biggest moments, and he's looked fantastic this week, and he's going to be a massive danger to everybody at the US Open, playing on a hard court that are playing very quick. Moving on to the women's side of the draw, we have Azarenka against Jo Konta, and both these players have just looked fantastic this week. Similar game styles in the sense that they've got great serves, hit well from the back of the court, both hitting very clean winners. I think both players are yet to drop a set this week, so it's very difficult to pick a winner. You can't really say a negative word about either of them this week so far. I will slightly favour Jo Konta in the fact, she's a fresher player, she's a lot younger than Azarenka, and being a Brit, I want to back Jo Konta. And I've seen over the years with Jo is that when she gets, when she does play her best tennis and she gets that consistent streak, she is one of the best players in the world for me. We've seen it at Wimbledon time and time again. She's reached the quarter-final, semi-final, looking unbelievable. It looks like she's going to beat anybody in the world, and then just throwing all of a sudden a bad performance. But this time round, touch wood, she's playing fantastically well, striking the ball so well from the back of the court. The second serve looks like it's been completely worked upon and locked down. It used to be a negative, now it seems to be turning into an aggressive positive where she's constructing points a lot better. So hopefully Jo continues that today, but she's going to have to be at the very top of the game. We know Azarenka's a very hard hitter, got a fantastic clean forehand, serves very well, and Azarenka, it's good to see her sort of rolling back the years after again a couple of years, difficult couple of years on the court. It's good to see her back in semi-finals, and if she can make the semi-final, then be fantastic for her career and confidence. But then moving on to the final semi-final, which arguably could be match of the day, Elise Mertens against Naomi Osaka, and what a match this could be. Mertens is a player that's been in the brink for a long time. Many people predict her to win Grand Slams and win events. She obviously made the final in Prague against Simona Halep, and to transform that form from clay onto hard court, she's done fantastically well. I think she's played outstanding this week. Again, if a player hits the ball very, very cleanly, moves well around the court, got good variations, got all the shots in the book, very good all round in my opinion. And then you've got Naomi Osaka on the other side, who we all know came through in 2018 as a youngster and just sort of blew everybody off the court. Struggled to deal with all the media hype, I believe, and being well number one, which saw her drop down the rankings, but I think that could be a blessing in disguise, and that breaking lockdown could be a blessing in disguise for Osaka as well, mentally and on the court. Just taking time to focus on her tennis, focus on performing on the court, and not beating herself up during matches, just taking each point as it comes. And I think to see her back mentally well and playing as well as she can this week has been very, very good. I think she's one of the best players to watch in the world, on men's or women's. She just makes the game look so easy at times with the power and precision she hits the ball with. She was down a set in the break to Annette Kontaveit in the quarterfinals, and I tuned in at 2-0 down, and Osaka railed off 6 games in about 15 minutes, and Kontaveit didn't do a lot wrong. Osaka just clicked into gear, found a forehand, and just hit clean winner after clean winner and ace after ace, and that's the ability that she's got. You really have to put Osaka to the sword when you've got her down, because she does come fighting back, and once she starts hitting the ball cleanly, there's very few players in the world that have got a defence that can cope with Osaka. I think there's only Simona Halep maybe that could cause her problems, but when Osaka gets a short ball and really starts finding the lines and being comfortable in the court and happy with the performance, and she's more or less unstoppable. And I do feel you have to back Osaka, when she's consistent and playing the way she is. As I said, I don't think there's anybody in the world that can really stop her attack. So although Mertens will cause problems and I think they'll win a set, I do think Osaka will come through just with the bigger weight of shot. But all 4 semi-finals could go really either way. I think the Djokovic one, you have to make him a big favourite, but other than that, I think the other three are more or less 50-50 matches. They'll all be fantastic games, so if you do tune in, do enjoy them. But please drop a like and a subscribe. I will be previewing tomorrow's final, and also tomorrow I will be releasing me US Open previews for the men's and women's draws, so if you do want to check them out, just subscribe and they'll be on the channel tomorrow. But thanks for watching again. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.